Collective, welcome to my channel. My name is Gemma. It's awesome to have you here today. This is a channel for healing, awakening, and the ability to connect our journeys. It's almost like this energy of a space to find like-minded people, but also have no judgment on those who have a difference of opinions. We're here to open our consciousness, not to only have one perspective. So the journey is of many, so it takes all of us, our unique, authentic energy, to really co-create something very beautiful. All right, we all have our own unique gifts about us. All right, so those things that you usually try to hide, that people don't understand, maybe you thought it's weird because other people have thought it was weird. So it's really something that stands out, makes you stand out from others. All right. So this is a collective reading. This is for the energy for the eclipse, the final eclipse. So this will be a total of 7 since November 2021. So if you go back to that time, see what was going on, it might give you a little bit of a clue. Just what energy you're kind of dealing with. So the solar eclipse is first, it's in Libra. What this is, it's really showing and almost creating this magnifying glass where there's no longer able to hold on to anything that the universe is wanting us to let go. Once there is this energy of an ending, which means a beginning, there is never an ending without a beginning. The beginning is always something that you have grown and you deserve. This is almost like a reward for completing a test. Think of it like that. So if you think of it as, even if you're going through something hard, letting go of somebody, grief, it could be pain, it could be relationships, since Libra is relationships, connections, balance. So whatever wasn't balanced, there is this new pathway. All right, so with this new pathway, this is the opening to something that is unlike anything that you have ever imagined. This is a feeling of maybe being not wanting to, like resisting, maybe never seeing this pathway before. It wasn't open, it wasn't unlocked. It's almost like, it looks like an enchanted pathway. So I feel like even if something comes along that is amazing, I feel like a lot of the collective is still not seeing what is right in front of them, still in the regret of the past. It's like that 4 of Cups energy, where you have 4 cups, or is it 5 of Cups, where there is, it's almost like looking down and seeing 2 cups spilt. But when out of this mode of anxiety, trapped in the emotions, holding on to this mental anguish, feeling like that pity, why me, not wanting to let go, re-examining, almost over-examining to the point of exhaustion. So I feel like this pathway is opening up to show you there's something beautiful, and you do not need to be in this energy of what was, because there is a beautiful light at the end, and it is offering a new beginning with transformation from the changes that you have made, whether it been sudden, some kind of a sudden turmoil, chaos that came in and kind of upheavaled everything without even any notice, you know, like that chaos, the storm. But yet, after a storm, there is that renewal, that purification, that everything was everything that was like the old leaves, everything gets wiped away by the wind, by the storm, and what's left is these new seeds, flowers, you know, all of the creation that was meant to be there, like wiping away the old, releasing the old. All right, so this pathway, number 35. So 3 and 5 could be important. Number 8, and feeling like you're finding this energy that is wanting to nurture your pain, nurture your wounds, anything that has been extremely painful to let go. And I feel like now is the time that there is a lot of change, endings, deaths, rebirths. So I feel like there is a lot of healing these ancestral patterns as well. So it's kind of flowing through us all at once. So it really feels like this really busy, chaotic energy. But what's really going on is there is much more going on that we don't see. So this pathway, it's like the spiritual pathway is opening up. It's allowing energy of the higher frequencies, the spirit guides to speak with you. You'll see the synchronicities, butterflies, but you might be seeing lots of butterflies right now, because butterflies are transformation. It's like, it's a new adventure. Be in this light energy, or at least allow this acceptance that maybe this is something amazing happening, that right around the corner from all those thorns and the unknown and feeling lost, alone, that's when you walk through this opening. And it's almost like everything that was being held on, everything you were holding on to as that ancestral energy, holding on to things that we were taught that were needing to have died out a long time ago. I feel like it's the death to a system, a death to a way of thinking, as needing to have that free-minded, free-thinking energy. So I feel like this is going on a new adventure that isn't so off the path. I feel like this, where you are now, this pathway, feels like it's really off the path. But yet, once you start walking and you start realizing how nice the stones actually are, when you see the light coming in, it's like you see how beautifully it is taken care of, and how the energy is just different. Everything just seems so harmonious, love, peace. So you start wondering, what was the path that you were on before? I feel like it was a busy highway. It was an intersection. it was traffic, busy. So I feel like this is where you are creating life, creating your life, beginning your story, writing your own story. You're finding your inner strength. This is almost this energy of just being light as air. When I was doing this pre-shuffle, I saw the Four Swords, which is rest, and the Knight of Wands. And in that specific, it's not this one, deck I was using, the Light Seers, the Knight of Wands is a woman, and she's having an amazing time. She's free and smiling, laughing, celebrating. There's a drum, and she's making music with the drum, almost like beating to your own music, beating to your own drum, finding the groove, finding you're like tuning into the frequency, which is not in anger or busy, constantly having to do things and never really having a time to even really think. So I feel like this is that energy of that time of rest with the Four of Swords, which was kind of like that structuring your mind. Four is that power, control, structure, rules, responsibilities, stability, you know. So I feel like the Four of Swords is that time to really restructure your mind and give yourself a rest. And with that, I feel like it brought out your inner child, your inner who you were before everybody told you what you were, what you weren't, right? I feel like this is you taking off all the labels, taking off everything, and just letting loose with your authentic self. All right, so pathway. What is this blockage? What's the blockage? Toil and labor and great fortune. Yeah, so there's something very protected. There's like this wisdom that's very protected and is only shared with certain individuals that can take on this journey. I say the chosen ones, but it's not anything of, it doesn't sound as magnificent as it is. Those are the ones that are presented with so many life challenges, you know, grow up in faded families that are the black sheep that need to, that are chosen to change the direction of some kind of belief. So I feel like this toil and labor, it's like if the block is what you're investing in. So toil and labor, that's work, that's it's like routine, overworked, not really getting anywhere. This is very like so I feel like you have this legacy that you're meant to overcome, and I feel like you've been put in a lot of different scenarios, situations in your life where life has been hard on you. Life has been feeling like it's been a routine every day, never really getting ahead, working hard, but nothing really, almost just used to this lifestyle and not expecting anything else. So I feel like there's a need to get out of that mind of just because you are in a fate, you were born into either poverty or a lot of trauma, lots of ancestral trauma, just a lot. It seems like a lot of different, like nothing has been easy. It's always been work, you know, and it's not really seeing that there's anything to go after, you know. Like I feel like that's it. This is what you're meant to be. So I feel like your blocking is how you look at abundance, how you look at your resources, and how to better use your energy to create it's almost like needing to break down the system of what we put our time and energy into. I feel like needing to be more resourceful, needing to follow a different path. So I feel like this is that Virgo energy, needing to rise above and see that there is a different way. Like working smarter, not harder. Still working harder, but creating a system that works for everybody. Nobody's at the bottom. Nobody is barely making it and struggling and feeling like that is the way to live, and passing that on to our children. You know, that's what you do. You wake up, you have no value. Like your value is your job. Your value is your money. I feel like this is the transformation energy that there is a different way. There is this path to create an abundance, a flow of abundance. Without, it's almost like needing to question a lot of things, needing to just put your mind and really think of how to get out of this energy of just, you know, like almost just working your life away and never really enjoying it, and then teaching that to your kids. You know, kids are raised not by parents anymore. It's like the food we eat isn't good. Everything seems to be very mechanical with toil labor. It's mechanic. So I feel like there's needing to change something, change a gear, put how hard you work and invest in your mind, how to recreate a system that works for everybody. There is no need for anyone to be at the bottom. We can all have this kind of community energy of, so rebuilding, this is like rebuilding how we invest our time, how we look at money, how we use the monetary value, and really valuing our mental, our physical. You know, people need to take better care of themselves, but it's almost like just too much energy put into things that are just taking us off our path. All right, so this keeping our mind busy, do this, do that. It's a very mind programming energy. It's a very robot. So I feel like there needs to be a different way to maybe utilize machines to I feel like it's interesting. I was just thinking of the word labor, like when a woman goes into labor, she's going to have a child, right? She's having extremely painful, it's odd that to consider like how we invest our time to just be able to live, right? Just make it by. And when a woman goes in labor with a child, it's like there is no time, right? Time is unimportant because time is irrelevant. You can't put a time frame on bringing a child into this world. But yet we put time on doing the same thing over and over, not really having that creation. Like a child coming into this world, very Pisces energy I'm thinking of, you know, it's like coming from the unknown to the known. And it is like it is a birth. So I feel like this is energy needing to create new cycles that really bring in this new life. Because I feel like a laborer, somebody that goes to work, you know, supports their family, it's, of course, that's I'm not saying anything bad of that, that's amazing, but I feel like they're giving their life away, right? Giving all their time away. Where I feel like it shouldn't be about money. It should be about how we are resourceful and how we create these new ways of working together, not using factories for food, you know, instead of having gardens and working together and sharing everything that we have. So I feel like there's this pathway to use our gifts, our what we would put our work into, like our work, what we would, where success is down this pathway of utilizing everybody's work skills, but in a different way. Somebody might be extremely good at gardening. Somebody may be really good. So I feel like this is just really changing the way we're looking at success in how many jobs we have. You know, we praise people for having 2-3 jobs, when of course that's extremely, you know, like you look at a farmer is extremely hardworking as well. So I'm not saying that. I'm saying invest in our hard work in a different way. Invest it down somewhere where it brings in the light and really creates an abundance, right? And it's skills, and we pass down these skills that we have through generations, and at least putting in the same amount of hard work, but towards something that is creating growth, and it's what the planet's here for. The planet has all the resources. So, I mean, if you look at this pathway, it is where we are meant to be, right? On a journey using the resources of the universe, right? We have everything that we need. It doesn't need to be bought out by somebody and then sold and then have people working for money and then it gets taken away. It's like, really, our value is what we should be trading our gifts and sharing. Birthing these new cycles on how we invest into our future, invest into, you know, growing food that's healthier, and then giving that to our children. And it's just this, it's going to continue on, instead of doing these, instead of using unnatural products that just create more destruction to the ozone, you know, the chemicals, the factories. It's not natural. And it's almost like that energy of not thinking, not thinking, just being told what to do every day, doing the same thing over and over. So it's like mindlessly doing something, and it really is just doing something over and over, and it's not creating anything positive. It's probably making more problems, All right, great fortune. All right, so the outcome you don't see is this is going to create an abundance of great fortune. So this is something that is going to be passed on. This is being very successful and having this victory by taking something that was slowly creating more diseases, more harm, more health issues. So I feel like this pathway, going back to basics, going back to the simple, and using healthier, non-harmful ways to do things. And this will allow a community really connecting together, and that's what the great fortune is. It's not just one person being successful or a number of people, but the success is pouring that great fortune to everybody. That's the great fortune. Is surrendering to these mental blocks that were restrictive and confined and really didn't do any higher purpose, which was, I believe, was keeping our minds busy, so it was harder to awaken. All right, and toil and labor is 11, so I feel like that's bringing justice for what was not fair. Those who were the hardest working tend to have been also ones who never saw their family, health issues, for to feed your family, that yes, but there's a great fortune leaving resourceful ways to heal this earth, and which means heal your children in the next generations. So it's passing on this wisdom of no longer being like a lemming. It's like leaving behind anything that was keeping us small. It's keeping away from this great fortune. I feel like once there was this, so I feel like the great fortune is seeing the pathway. It's like the ancestors are with the stone energy. So I feel like this is something that it is like a legacy. It's almost like there's this is a medal or something that an idol, something that you would like they maybe it feels very pure, but also very not ancient, but something antique and very it's pouring flowers. So great fortune is this abundance of, your great fortune is not just receiving one thing. Great fortune is when you have, it's like you have the knowledge, the wisdom to continue this flow, pouring into these cycles, never letting the well run dry. So it's almost having these new ways of not having to manually do things, being very confined to only one way of living, All right, so I feel like this healing whatever was not in the energy of I feel like whatever it was holding you back, holding the collective back, it was like our consciousness. It was buried in work all the time. And what do I have to do next? And okay, what chores do I have to do? And it's a constant list of who has hockey on what night? Who, kids have singing lessons. It's like a constant planning in the mind where there was never a chance to open up to the subconscious thoughts, to our intuition, to what was showing us the synchronicities that we'd see them, but we didn't know what it meant. Well, it meant that it's enough is enough. It's the end of a cycle. When Pluto goes retrograde, or not retrograde, Pluto goes direct in Aquarius, which is very soon, this is going to completely reinvent the social system, reinvent anything that is not of truth and of pure intent. So I feel like this toil and labor is that kind of doing these little things that were not evolving us. It was almost just like chasing our own tail, just keeping us busy, keeping our mind busy to not grow and evolve, keeping us in this box energy where knowing that there was, if we had a moment to pause, which that's why meditation has always been so important, or yoga, if you have the minute to pause and really quiet your mind, that's when you start almost having these little glimpses of well, what if, all these what ifs. And then it starts, well, that doesn't make sense. And then I feel like when you start to go down this pathway, you start seeing things that you didn't see before. And you start connecting really quickly. I feel like this is really quick energy. Since Aries is in the nodes of fate, it is charging towards our purpose, charging towards the movement into your own power, into almost like not being afraid anymore, like having a lot less fear and kind of almost being curious. So I feel like this pathway is really being eclipsed into our lives right now. I feel like this will be showing you the pathway, and then the lunar eclipse is going to be in lunar eclipse in Scorpio. What is? No, sorry. The lunar eclipse is in Aries. Oh my gosh. So, yeah. So I feel like that is asking what was needing to be healed in connections. Aries North Node is going that direction, you're mapping out your destiny, and if you're not moving yet, you're getting ready, you're preparing, you're mentally preparing it's like your soul knows. All right, so I feel like you just have, maybe you might just be a little bit confused, by this energy pull. It's very direct. Aries is Mars, is very direct, very powerful, movement, action. So this is the time to create something whole, something that will last, something that we can very happily pass on to our children. This great fortune within this pathway. I mean, it's much nicer to be in this pathway than to be in this dark, dungeony place that is very restricting, controlled, and not of the highest purpose. So I feel like all your hard work will be paying off. I feel like this is that 10 of Wands, burdens, too many burdens, needing to let go. And I know you're going to say, well, how? I can't just let go of my burdens. I have, things that, it's not just like that, but just trust the process. You don't have to let go of anything that is not being pulled away from you. If, say, you get fired from your job, don't panic. I'm not asking you to go leave your job, no. Just to have this heightened awareness to question, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? I'm doing this to make money, but you are meant for so much more. That's why it is very important to know that this is a fortune. This is, you're being gifted the inner strength that you have been so hardworking, and you've overcome so much that I feel like what was taken, what was overburdened, will be restored, will be given back. You will be seeing things will start unfolding fast. All right, so with these eclipses, there is something very important, it's like it's set in stone. This great fortune is set in stone. You were meant to go through all this journey of misfortune so that you could truly understand what you're here to do, so that when you are given this opportunity, you know exactly what to do with it. There is no misguided information. It's like you understand all the sacrifices you had to make was so that you could open up this new shift, new wavelength, it's like when you've been working in a coal mine for so long, it's dark, it's hard to breathe, it's messy. It's almost like that energy of just being always pushed harder, and just not feeling getting ahead. It doesn't feel like this is the way life should be. And I feel like you have broken that energy, broken the curse, broken that with your devotion to seeing the truth in others, seeing people for what they are, not how much money they are and what they can offer. You see the value in people that of all different energies, and you have this empathy towards others that maybe aren't at the same stage as you. And I feel like you are that leader that will show others. You will create this new way of being kind and generous, wanting to guide, like the teacher, almost like this teacher energy, where you are creating these new skills. So teaching others how to do skill work, and then working with everybody's different pathways. It all connects together. We all have special tools and skills, and then together we share them, and we don't have to do everything all in one day. Instead, almost like the movie Moana, you know, it's like everybody has their own thing, and together it just creates a much more balanced and harmonious energy instead of being overworked, underpaid, and constantly feeling like you're angry, you know? So I feel like this is this pathway that of a new teaching, balancing out the energy of misfortune and fortune. You know, there's something extremely great about this energy that is you're coming into. All right, so these eclipses are going to be feeling like it is a hard time. Again, Aries is very intense, so it might feel like there is this